We get it from the top, you know we gonna get it more, get it more.
What's happening, guys? You're here with Nate. This is Crossbeats Production, and today I want to talk about the new Komplete 14, which has recently been released. I want to specifically go into Komplete 14 Ultimate, which is a version that I've got, and talk about whether or not it's worth it and get into some of those details. So let's get straight into this. Let's go. Basically, I want to go and cover some of the things, first of all, about the price and the value for money. Now, full disclosure, I was given the version of the collector's edition by Native Instruments. Thanks to them for that. And also, they didn't tell me how to word this or anything to do with this video. They literally just provided the product for me to review. So I'm grateful for that. But I want to give full disclosure about that, and also the fact that I have an opinion of my own, which they will not alter that, and how I feel about the product. So let's get into that and go through some of the versions that you get. So first of all, as far as the version that I was on, I was actually on version 9. And if I was to upgrade to Komplete 14 from where I was, I feel like it's definitely value for money as far as that's concerned. And that's what kind of made me hesitate, I guess, throughout the additions to Komplete, was the value for money. I feel like it was kind of like little bits were added here where I probably wouldn't get that much value for money if I was upgrading to, for example, 11 or 12 when I was at that spot. When they released 13, I think that's when they released Massive X, and that's kind of where I was really on the fence whether or not I should take the plunge and get straight into it and update from my version 9. But before that, there was a few different things that I really wasn't that too much worried about. Not to say I don't like the product. I love Komplete. I just didn't have the money to really spend on it at the time to upgrade. And I feel like that's where a lot of people may or may not be at, depending on what your situation is. But and then talk about some of the things that I really, really like about this product and some of the updates. So first of all, if you're going to upgrade to either, the Ultimate or Standard, or even, further than that, the Collector's Edition, you get a lot of content in there, and it is definitely worth the value for money. So I went out and bought Omnisphere, which cost me, I think, $600. I think it was $500. I can't remember at the time. But I bought Omnisphere, and that's just one, plugin, which is massive as well. But it's not to the level that this kind of content is as far as the variety of sounds that you get. But I want to talk about the size. So if you're looking at this version, which is the one I have, you need another hard drive, because it's almost 1.5, well, it's over 1.5 terabyte, and I certainly did not have enough space on my computer, on my Mac, as it was to have this running off of the Mac. I had to use an external SSD to run it. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention is if you're going from where I was, for example, from 8 to 14, you're looking at about this amount of money for those owners, and if you're looking at the Ultimate version, if you are holding Ultimate, which I was on Komplete 9 Ultimate, then you're looking at about $599, which is something to also consider as well. The other thing that you get as well, you get Ozone Standard, I believe it is, which is awesome, Ozone 10, and iZotope make, in my opinion, some of the best plugins as far as mixing. They are fantastic, so you get that, and then you get as well a few Plugin Alliance plugins there as well. So if you want that, that's, there's so much stuff. There's a ridiculous amount of synths. There's a lot of sample stuff, battery, flash, polyplex, drums for days. There is a lot of stuff in here. You can see if you just go through it yourself in your own time, you can hear that and check that out. So back to what it sounds like and the way that I like, as far as Kontakt 7 is concerned, which is the most recent version. If I scroll up in my track here, which I'll play this in just a moment, but you can see I've got my choir, which is on Kontakt 7. Now, if I bring this up, you're going to see that the actual plugin, the GUI, or I guess the way that this looks, it definitely has improved. And I got to say, the way they kind of are leading towards, having all things in one place, I do kind of like that. At the start, I was a bit hesitant because I kind of like to separate my stuff. But I do like the way that they've updated this. And again, I haven't had everything in here. This is so much stuff that I'm missing. But I have updated some stuff that I really like, especially the soul sessions, which is one of them, and this hybrid keys as well. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is the way that you can preview the sounds, and we'll just chuck the headphones on as well. This is pretty awesome how you can do that. You can just scroll through a lot of different sounds and just, have a listen to them, choose them, and then go from there. So, if you wanted to, you can search by, category. So piano, if I want to do that, I could search by type of piano sounds. And I've used this 25 a lot. That was one of my favorites when it came out. I think it was for free at the time when Native Instruments released that. And Thrill is pretty awesome as well for different, unique, weird sounds. Some of these I've been using for a long time. For example, the Giant piano. And this one is now becoming one of my favorites, the Maverick piano, which I know that's been around for a bit too. And then you've got all the contact sounds, all different stuff. So now I want to show you guys kind of what I've used this in a practical sense, an actual song, and some of the sounds that I use. So first of all, this is the choir sound that I had in this track. Now I'll just bring up. Now if you listen to this, I'll just play the choir to you and check this out. Now you can see on the keyboard here, it highlights where the active keys are and also the editing keys. So this is if you wanted to change it to an E or an I, for example, let's play that. So that's that. And there's a lot of variation. You can kind of mess around with this. Well, changing the way or how much these are active and different things inside of it. And you've got the browser here as well, which you can see presets for the browser and scroll through those as well. So that's also useful. And again, you can move this meter however you want it, which will alter how these are affecting as well. So just a lot of stuff you can do. And in the settings, just something that I always note down to make sure I have the right things going on here. I like to have this at -6. I believe that's at default. I'm not sure though, but that always is good to not blast out your speakers. And you can control how many cores. If you have a fairly powerful PC, you can use as many cores as you want on that. Now, this is one of the ones that I really liked because it's such a unique style of sounds, very different sounds, and I use this in this beat. And I'll show you what that sounds like with the MIDI, the actual audio. So if I just go back here. Now, it's such a weird sound. It's probably nothing you'd use on its own, but if you're using it as a stack or a texture, then it definitely is something useful. So check this out in context. I'll just play this whole song from the start here and have a listen to this. I'll mute the MIDI so we don't have multiples going at the same time. Check this out. Now, that beat primarily came out of sounds from the new plugins that I've got now. So a lot of Native Instruments sounds are in here. Hopefully this gives you guys an idea about, the way that sounds are, the kind of context you can use them in, the different stuff that you get. If I was a producer starting out, which back in 2013 I was, that was the first setup that I got to get my elaborate sort of sounds for my studio, and I was able to work with those sounds for a long time, and I still do. I still use all of the sounds. Again, I haven't used all of them, but I'm saying I still use it as my main basis for a lot of my productions. So hopefully this gives you an idea whether or not it's worth it for you. I think it is. If you went back from 9, 10, maybe 11, there's definitely a lot of content in there. If you're on the fence because you're at 12, 13, I understand that, but there is certain things you probably want to update at least to contact, maybe if you feel like you need to. But again, if you don't want to spend the money and if you like me, you like to make sure you budget correctly, I would definitely, I would have been the type of person to hold off for a little bit, wait till I see value for money. I was really on the fence. I was so close to hitting the button to hit buy now, and Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, I love you guys, and as always, I'm honest with you as best I can be about the content and stuff that I create. So catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. I've been sending for this now, while you feel that trumpet sound. I've been seeing for some while, you're gonna see it when I'm down, cause I take a few steps to wonder how this could finally hit me. Take a few breaths to realize built this kind of with